don't take it as gospel truth, but this is the proposal he comes up with. Let's talk about it as a church. Remember, we're talking about what affects our homes, right? This is your house, this is your home, these are your debts. What would make more sense to pay? According to this model, it says we pay the visa first. The moment we finish paying the visa, it doesn't mean you pay it in its entirety. We're just saying that you could even start paying $25 towards it. And in 3 payments you do that, you clear it, right? The moment you finish paying it, what do you do with the amount you use to pay it? What happens? Have you guys read this? What is it? I'm sorry, I'm not hearing. What do you do once you pay the 75 you finish? What do you do with that money you were paying towards that $75 loan?
On to the next payment.
I'm sorry, you should give your mic. What do you do?
For hard work.
What do you do once you finish the 7? Let's assume you're paying $25 towards the 75, and in 3 payments you're done.
My wife said you increase it and put it in another debt.
You increase and use it towards another debt. Does that make sense? Okay. So according to this sheet of paper, which would be the next debt you would be attacking? Sears, right? Why? Because it has the next minimum amount or the next least amount to get rid of, right? So assuming you are paying that $580, maybe you are paying $100 towards it, you would add that $25 you are paying towards the visa onto that $100 you're paying towards Sears. Does it make sense? Now, trust me, if you are listening to an economics professor, you know what they would tell you? They would say, from a logical standpoint, it only makes sense to pay the debt with the highest interest. That's logical. Okay? But here, what we're trying to say, or what Dave Ramsey says is, cut out this debt with the least amount. And when you think about it from a, what's the word? It gives you impetus. Imagine how gratifying it is if you have a cheat sheet somewhere or a whiteboard where you are attacking this debt and you have an eraser. You know, as you go along, you erase the debt. It gives you psych to say, you know, I did this. I paid off my mortgage. The next debt I'm going to be attacking is what? Is my car. The next one is the doctor's, whatever. Does it make sense? It's a good momentum builder. But as you do that, the emphasis, and this is why stewardship, we're trying to talk about debt. Do we believe that our relationship to money, it impacts our relationship with God? Does it? Yes. Do we think it does? Is there a correlation? Yes. It does, right? Yes. This is why in church every day we are talking about not meeting our financial goals. Because how do we give what we don't have? How do we pay church expenses when in our own homes we can't attack our own personal life? Do you see the point? Do you see where I'm headed with this? You can't give what you don't have. Let's talk about stewardship as it stands today. And this is really the essence of our afternoon program. Unfortunately, each time the stewardship director stands up here or the church pastor, most of the sermons or most of the talk, have you ever seen where it's headed? It's very guilt-inducing. Am I right? Am I wrong? It's very guilt-inducing. What is the most prominent verse? Most people who stand in front and are making appeals about giving offering. Malachi. Okay? Stewardship is guilt-inducing in most of our churches. We are always talking about either funding or building fund. But we never talk about that what what affects our own home. We never talk about the element of death. So for us, our approach is pretty simple. All we are saying is, once you attack your debt, once you're done with your debt, then it becomes very easy to have money to give. I remember there was a time, I have to put them on the spot here. If I went out to work and I got into an issue, any issue with my car, she would always remind me I didn't pay tithe the previous Sabbath. You know, she says, the reason your car broke down is because you didn't pay tithe. And you know, that is always our approach. You know, are we notorious for saying, you see, and I like Brother Abdallah's sermon this morning, you know, he touched about that to the extent that, do we tell God, hey, I paid my tithe this month, so you owe me. Why would my car be breaking down? Do we hold God at ransom? And the reason I'm using them is because I can get away with it. But you know, we always think we can subjugate God with the things we do. See, I say, and I'm very notorious for making these mistakes, I say, I pay my tithe, I keep the Sabbath, come to church. Why would this calamity be facing me? Is that how it goes? Let's look at our finances. Let's talk about our finances. The last time we did a lot of visuals, but this time around I intentionally stayed away from them. We talked about student loans. And it's good that the bulk of this audience here today was not here last time. How many of you think there's good debt to have versus bad debt? How many of you think there's anything like good debt? And if you think, please raise up your hand and tell me what debt you think is good. That's fine.
I think that debt that is good is when, I read a quote somewhere from Ellen White, where she said, when, for example, as a church, we can't afford to buy this building, we get a mortgage, that's a debt. Should we be worshiping outside? So why am I getting it? And what is the cause and the purpose for that? So in that case, a mortgage is a debt. Should I stay in an apartment or something like that? So those are the kind of debts that I think that they're good debts.
Brother Bernard, I think, had his hand up.
I think he said what I wanted to say, but I'm thinking about another one here. Let's say I earn $10, and I know if I go to school, I can increase it to $15, $20. And so I don't have the money. I take a student loan. So I go to school, in 2 years I'm done, and I'm earning the $20. That was a good loan, and that was a good debt.
I'm going to challenge that. You've taken a loan, that $20 now you're making, the 10 you added, you're paying that loan.
But I won't pay for life.
Hold that thought. So is that good in the interim?
For me, it is.
For you it is. So think about it. He said he's going to get a loan to increase from $10 to $20, but remember he's added a burden on top of already what he had to make that extra.
Of course, God doesn't want us to be beggars. He gives us blessings. When you come with the investment, you come to church here, we expect to give tithes and wine. This is the way I look on it, a good debt. If I take some money loan from somewhere, a pie, a piece of land, which I do investment, or do a project which is going to give income, as I would definitely. If I manage property, it's a good one. Although I'm taking that money to borrow to buy a piece of land, it's going to generate income at the end. Also, in tithes and offering, I get some money. That's about it.
Okay. Any other person? We watched, and I really wish, I don't know why I left this. We watched, Dave Ramsey has these videos every week. This week, there was this couple that called him who are $600,000 in debt. They're both physicians. $600,000 in debt. Now, I'm going to challenge what Bernard brought up, and I'm going to challenge what Pastor brought up. Not because I don't believe in student loan. I have a student loan debt myself. The entry-level salary for this physician, one was going to be, what?
150.
One's entry-level salary was 180, and I think the other one was also about 200. So give or take, you're looking at combined income 300,000 a year, vis-a-vis a $600,000 student. Now you've got to remember, student loans, even if the interest is good, the minimum right now is, I don't know whether any of you has a better interest, but I think the average interest is 6%. You do the math, what is 6% on 600,000? What is your monthly payment? Because the average, what's 25 years, is it? 20 years? I mean, give or take, we're talking about averagely 1,500. On 600 actually is more. It's probably 2,000, right? At 6%. We don't have any mathematicians.
36,000.
6,000.
36,000.
36,000 at 6%.
Monthly payment.
Oh,
No, I did it total.
Oh, okay.
All of it.
Okay.
So divide
That is steep.
So 3,000. 3,000 per month.
3,000 a month.
Per year. Per
A
year.
year. No, that's not
That's
right.
per month.
That's not right.
Per month. Per month.
Yeah. So the point is, it is steep. Those payments are steep, you know. So, and I think what I was going to dwell on is what Bernard brought up. Unfortunately, most student loans nowadays are so steep that there's a mismatch between the entry-level salary against what you... Of course, you're not going to graduate from college and make minimum wage. No. But truly, you're also not going to make a lot more. I mean, let's assume what average, what did they say the average student loan is? I think it's 60,000 now, 70,000. The entry-level salary, in the most part, is not 70,000. I don't know, maybe for nurses, maybe it is for nurses, I don't know. But if you take a business degree, the entry-level salary is about 45,000. So the question is, you see, there's a mismatch there because it simply means you're graduating, your first entry-level salary is way less than what you owe the government on student. So that's the first thing. The second thing, back to the point Pastor was saying, there are certain dynamics that go towards if it's mortgages. You know, the way of thinking back in the day was you can go borrow a mortgage. In fact, most people borrow mortgages and don't put any money down. The illustration we had last time was this. Bernard has a Jeep. I have a Jeep. We have the same year Jeeps. We bought them, maybe the sticker price is $25,000. I come with Bernard, we park our cars out here. Bernard would either not be making a car note on that Jeep, or his car payment is $200 because he had very good credit when he bought that car and he put some money down. I, on the other hand, had poor credit, I put no money down, and I pay $600. We're never at par. I could be having a mortgage, we're living in the same neighborhood. In fact, the illustration wasn't that. We said there are some people who live in Wayzata or who live in $1 million homes, and their mortgage payment is exactly like mine. I live in Plymouth. My house probably cost $100,000, and this guy in Orono, his is $1 million. Why? Because the guy in Wayzata put down $950,000. His or her credit score is 800. And I think I'm at par with this. I think that this guy, his mortgage is probably $10,000, $15,000. But we are not the same, you know, because of those dynamics. So there are certain things we need to stop being delusional about. You know, we think because I'm at a traffic stoplight with Bernard and we both have jeeps that we are living the same. We are not living the same. That because we live in the same neighborhood with my neighbor, that we are the same. We're not the same. The homes could have all been sold at the same, but Bernard came across a certain cash windfall, or he's better at planning his money. And so he put more money down and did what? Bought that house. So there's certain things we need to be sensitive about. But again, it's boiling down to debt. How do we use or how do we give what we don't have? This afternoon, we need to talk about how do we become generous when we have debt. And I really wanted to bring this video, but I thought I would be stirring some waters. How do we maintain a level or a semblance of being generous, and yet we are so stretched? Think about it this way. Like for us Kenyans, we have notoriety for being in Ebiombe, so many Ebiombes, right? You know what I'm talking about, chama, right? Why are we in this chama? Why are we joining one benevolent group after another? What is the purpose? We're what?
Can't do it alone.
We can't do it alone. Are we sure? Is that the reason?
That's what they say, you put together.
Okay. So why can't we join one? Why should we join Abagirango, KCC Welfare? Why are we in so many of them? These benevolent groups, are they for development or investing purposes, or are they purely for funerals? Some of them have turned into investments.
Yes.
Some. All? Is it true? Is that a fact, Wendy, or you're?
How people are saying some people are joining so many organizations, they can get more.
Get what? What point? You see, I'm trying to stir your thinking. Why are we joining this development?
I think we're just human beings. We need more than we don't need to. Because I don't see a reason though why you should have more than two. Because you just need a ticket.
Okay.
But when you have a lot, it's like you're inviting them and
Okay. Okay. All right.
You're investing for funerals.
Valentine has a...
Valentine.
Me, I was going to say this. Actually, let me give myself as an example, because I can judge myself so well. I am not only in cases in welfare, but I have another one. And here is the reason. If anything happens to one of my family members, we cannot count on our community anymore like we used to. That's one of the reasons. So me getting 3,000 from here and getting another 3,000 from somewhere, I can cater for all that matanga by myself if there's nobody who's going to help. That's how I looked at it. I'm not, maybe, Pastor was telling me that there are some people who go and build homes with that money. Then that's where you caught me in the middle of that. It's not, that's greediness. We don't do that.
Okay, so let's talk about this. I was going to talk about something different from what we had agreed. We're going to discuss debt first, but since he brought this, let us say, for example, I'm from Nyaribari. I'm in Nyaribari. And my clan is Botondo. I'm in Abatondo. I come from Muanyarebe, so Muanyarebe I'm also in. Yeah. So those are already how many? 3. Then I'm in KCC benevolent
Yes.
welfare. That is 4. Then there is women's group. That is how many?
Pamoja Kenya.
Pamoja Kenya. So let's just stop it there and be conservative. 6. We are keeping it at 6. Out of all these 6, every month I need to give $50 each.
300.
How much is that? Who am I working for? Am I working for funerals?
Yes, to secure for somebody not to die.
So, listen, there are some, immediately somebody dies, but besides making that monthly note, when somebody dies, you have to do what? And with the way we live nowadays, unfortunately, we are living in the last days where death is almost what? A daily occurrence. So you find that in your check, okay, Steve and I come from different groups. He's from Tombe, Abagetutu. So there's also Abagetutu that we have to contribute to. There's also Tombe, so that's already 8. Okay? And then KCC, and then all those we have to give. Are we being realistic? Is that the best way we can be stewards of what God has given us? Seriously? Children of God? In the name of fearing that when somebody dies in my family, I will get help. Can't we be a little wiser? Is there another way that we can handle our debts? Is there another way that we can plan our death, our end of life? Let's not call it death. End of life on earth. Shouldn't there be a better, more wiser way? And this is what Ramsey says. And Steve is a very ardent follower of Ramsey, and he has baptized the whole family to eat. But I follow someone else called Todd, and they are both very good. And we watch them all in tandem. And one thing they have both of them agreed, and even other financial analysts, is plan for your death, your end of life. And the best way to plan for your end of life is insurance. And let me tell you that if you have insurance for end of life, it will be a lot cheaper. So that when people come, they are not obligated, they don't feel the burden of coming to mourn with you because they know there's a financial obligation. Now you know people fear going for matangas because that is money. But when you plan for your end of life, people graciously come to mourn and grieve with you genuinely. Not coming to give money and go. So unasikia there's matanga and somebody else, you say, nilienda nilitoa yangu. That is not mourning. Or is that grieving, my friends? Plan for your end of life with insurance. If you can pay for your car insurance, if you can pay for your home insurance, if you're paying for your medical insurance, why don't you save the people you're leaving behind the headache when you pass on by planning with an insurance? And I'll give you 2 options. Because I know the reason I'm telling you this is because a question will come after this, so I'm trying to cover that question. Buy your own insurance and your children. In fact, most banks now give it almost for free. Then the question will come, what about the people who are in Kenya? I have family in Kenya. How do I handle that when I lose a dear one in Kenya? KCB has a very beautiful plan. You pay about $100 a year only, and it covers all your immediate relatives. So if a sibling or a parent passes on, you just notify them, take a death certificate to them, and they take care of that. That is a wiser and more, I don't want to use Christian best, but it's more wiser way of still using your money, being good stewards of your money. We don't want to give and give and give, and then we say, oh God, you know I had to go give. God did not give you money so you can keep giving foolishly. God gave you the brain to use, and He has made these provisions for us to use so that we can invest wisely and so that we can use that money where it is supposed to be used, help the the needy, help his house, help the mission, because we are here for a purpose, to spread the word. But when we are using all that money planning for death that is not here, we are not being wise. Buy insurance for yourself and your family. Buy insurance for the extended family. So when people come to mourn you, whatever little they give you is just to assist you to... I remember when we were in Kenya, it used to be called Erongori. That is just to Erongori to say, Irangora is to give you mora. Pole pole tu. Pole pole tu. But when we now we are slaves of what was supposed to be good. We are enslaved with chama. We are enslaved with Egiombe. I have to, nitatolewa kwa hii chama kwa sababu sijatoa for 2 months. Really? Is that what God has called us to do? Is that the best way we can spend our hard-earned money? By planning for a death that is not even coming? What if nobody ever dies in your family? Do you see what I mean? So you have lived in anticipation for death, paying your check every day, and a lot of money at that. And then you become a slave to it. We'll talk about that later.
I still expect you to come support me if I die. And if you have this insurance, make sure you come. But
well, they'll come to mourn, and that is what Christ calls us for. Go to a house of mourning and mourn with the mourners. Not go give your money and go away and say, "Mimi nilienda nikatoa yangu."
I think more people came if you. I don't know if you have more of this still to give, but let's back to this. Again, this is the emphasis of our afternoon presentation. How to manage your debt so that you can be debt-free. Last time, one of the questions we asked, and it would be a good question to ask, is, does it matter how much you make? Does it matter how much income you make?
No.
No? Yes? How many think it matters? How many think it doesn't matter? Doesn't matter? So where do the rest of you lie? It matters? Does? Okay. Let me hear from those who say it matters. Why does it matter how much money you make?
No, for me, I say it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, okay?
And the reason I say that is because if you're earning $1 million and you're spending $1,000,001, you are still in debt. If you're earning $100 and you're spending $95, you have actually saved $5. You're in a much better place than the person who's earning $1 million. So there's the perception that the more I have, the better I am, but what that does is the more you have, the more you start spending, the more other things you come up with that are not needs, they're just wants, but you put them in that category. So if I learn to spend the little that I have, it will take care of itself whether I have more or less, as long as I have the principle of how I spend.
Okay. Okay, now Wendy has.
I had said it matters so that you can plan yourself. So you just don't go lazing around, you have to work towards your bills and stuff. But now that Pastor Ezra said something, I'm confused.
I raise my hand up for it does not matter how much you earn. If you tithe and give offerings faithfully to God, even the little one you make, it will be blessed. Matanga and other stuff, God will take care of them. And there is a song we sing which says, little is much when God is there. So the little you make, so long as you tithe and give your offering faithfully, God will bless it. I'm a strong believer, even little money, God will bless it.
Okay. Anybody else? And you know, that's true.
in some sense that has been taught by her. I don't know whether that knowledge is to us. The advice that the banks are now giving loans, that you have, I know that you can have your life loan, but I don't know that there is a loan that you can be given to cater for problems that may appear or may come from your relatives or from your wife's side and from your side. If there is something like that, then it's a new knowledge that we should get to learn so that we also join those banks for catering such kind of problems in life, because they are there with us. I don't know, we never knew that something like that is there. That's why. But again, this Yumbe, when they are there, if you are more than two, possibly if now these days, 3,000 going to Kenya is nothing. That is a ticket for one person. That's why it would make you extend to another acre. But if you are in 1 acre with 2, 3, 4, you are also crazy. Because the purpose really is trying to help yourself in that time of need. But again, if it is beyond the need, you are entrapping yourself into a problem. Even in your house, you cannot give anything. Again, even the food in the house, you cannot bring. Because you are spending all the money you are getting into these things. So, these things you have spoken that a bank can give at least some life insurance together for me and my relatives is something I never knew. If we know it, you can leave this up because when that problem comes, then you go to the bank. It's not as easy as you say, you know. Even life said, even your own life, when you are not there, it's a struggle to get that man again to care for you.
So it's not a loan, it's an insurance. It's insurance you buy, like any insurance, but it's 1,000 times cheaper than joining 5, 6 Ebiombe. So that we save this Ebiombe for the purpose of true mourning and grieving with those who have lost dear ones.
Yeah, I was going to stand with her that your income matters with your debt too. When I'm looking at the paper you give us, we say doctors, when you get sick, you go to hospital, they don't look at you based on how much you make. The bill, if I went for a kidney transplant, I make 40,000 and 100,000 is the same price. So if I'm making more, I'll be able to cover doctor's bill quick. Also, I'll cover that quick. Parents 1,500. If you make 400 a pay period, how long will it take to help parents with 1,500? If I make 15 in a pay period, I can take care of those. But when it comes with visas, if you are addicted with these other debts, then that one is God who can help, how to reduce your. But we can't say that how much you make does not matter. Because if you are able to control your debts, when you make good money, there are those which are fixed that you can help quick.
Something here which Brother Thiago talked about, we are wise to spend the money. That's why this wiseness comes in. That tells us it's not how much you make, it's how much you spend. Because I heard you saying, you're wise enough how to spend this money. You can get $1 million, but how do you spend that one? That's what some of us will say, it doesn't matter how much. I see people want more than what I have. I see some people want much, because sometimes. But to me, when I look at this one, is how much you spend on the little you have or the much you have. But going back again is how you spend. It doesn't matter how much you make. It's how wise you spend.
people perish because of lack of knowledge. Honestly, me, as I said before, I don't know some of those things, like this KCB, which can cater for that. And thinking of that, I mean, me being an example, if I knew that there's something like that, I could have taken it a long time ago. And besides that, if you're maybe, even if we have them, honestly, okay, one person calculated it like this. How many matangas do we have in a weekend? Then we say an average, maybe 3, an average 3. And if you attend those 3, if you give them 40, so those 3, you have already given 120 in 1 weekend. And this person maybe collects an average of 10,000 one person, or maybe 5, let's give an average of 5,000 one person. So 5 times 3, in 1 weekend, Kenyans will raise 15,000. You know, that's how somebody was calculating. And then he calculated this money in a year, and that's an average. So how much money have we contributed out here for funerals, besides even yoga and stuff? So if we come up, if leaders, those in a team, if they can come up with something that can help us here, instead of going to KCB and give people interest and reach those people out there. If you leaders who have been given knowledge by God, that you can give us something here, that we can come together and build ourselves and ensure ourselves. Not that we don't have to go out there and look for insurances that we can enrich other people. That's my point.
I think sitting next to Valentine is making us bounce ideas off each other. So forgive us in advance. I think that in a spiritual sense, the text that comes to mind is Psalms chapter 90, that says, Lord, teach us how to number our days. And I wonder if we've ever paused to ask ourselves, what does that look like to number our days? It's not asking anybody else to number the days for you. It is for myself to sit and number my days. So that's the first thing. The second thing that comes to mind is the book of Genesis, chapter 50, when Jacob died, before he died, he told his son Joseph, he said, take my bones back to Canaan, to the grave that I dug myself. Who dug that grave? Himself. He had prepared for his own what? Death. And when his time came, he told his son, take me back where I am going to be done what? Buried. For the 40 years they wandered in the wilderness, guess whose bones they had? Just Jacob's son, bones. Of those people who left Egypt, how many of them made it there? 2. And the bones of Joseph. Jacob. Joseph. Yeah, okay. Yes. So you look at that, you say that even from a biblical perspective, we have wondered away when we are planning for the death of the next person. My mom and my dad, when they die, I will get 3,000 and go bury them. But myself, when I die, you get the Kyobe, then you will take me. So we are numbering for the other person. I think what we're talking here is a biblical principle and a biblical concept that is there. Lastly, part of teaching us to number our days is, I use the example of my wife and my sister the other day when we were at Gilbert's place. I was asking this question. I asked my sister Yuka, if I die today, where should I be buried? And I asked my wife, where should I be buried? And you see, many of us are here busy anyway, but when that time comes, your family will be wrestling and fighting because we've never conversed and discussed about these realities of life. So it is my prayer that as we discuss this, as we look at it from a financial perspective, but also we realize that we are not here to be here forever. Because when the Lord teaches us to number our days, my action to my neighbor will be different because I don't know if tomorrow I'll be there. I look forward to do goodness to others because this is the time that I've been given. People have given you that time. That changes the approach of stewardship when we understand what David meant when he said, Lord, teach me how to number my days.
Thank you, Pastor. And that's where I was headed when I said that we need to plan our end of life. Because when we don't plan our end of life, what we are essentially saying is, I don't care for you, my family. Take care of me when I'm gone. That is, in other words, what you're saying. But when we plan our end of life, remember where Jesus was buried was in Joseph Arimathea's tomb. He had planned his life. If those people could plan their end of life, what is wrong with us? Why are we passing on this burden to other people? Like, I love the example that, the analysis that Ramsey and Todd uses. If you can insure everything else in your life, why not insure your end of life? Why are you not concerned about your end of life?
For me, sorry to take you back almost where we started, about money management or financial discipline. Here, I'm giving you a very practical example. Does it matter what you earn and how you spend? That even if you get little and you have financial discipline, you are a much better person than a person who earns more and spends more. All goes about financial discipline. It's about your discipline. But I still say that a person who went to college is a pharmacy doctor. Let me give you an example of my niece. She's a pharmacy doctor. This young girl, she's earning about, let me mention, 6,000. She's my niece. And this girl, she's a devoted Christian, like all of us. And she's very much disciplined in what she spends and what she earns. Everything she writes down. The girl has got a very good saving. The other day, she bought a house in Nairobi for the parents. She paid cash. And now she's also building another house for parents again at a scheme, at a settlement scheme. And she doesn't take much loans. Actually, she's doing a saving. Why am I giving an example? This girl, always she's challenging me and aunt here that, Uncle, why do you have so many stadiums like what Ella was talking here? Why do you enter so much? Why don't you take insurance? And that is all. She always talks to us, but we say no. Ebiombe has got much more meaning behind it. Because it's like we are helping.
Next you are going to be social.
Yeah. But then let me come to the subject. I don't want to lose track. In other words, a person who went to school and who is earning a good money is a well-blessed person. He's in a better perspective than a person, a $10 man. How many doubles will you run? She's paid $200 college or $150, call it 100 per hour. And you are going for a double, you are paid for an hour $10. And here is somebody who is paid for 1 hour $100 per hour. How are you going to tell me that your life will be the same with a $10 person and somebody wants 100? If she's disciplined, you are also disciplined. Yeah. So this person of $100 will do many things, his investments and his plans. She will drive a much better car than your car you drive. You cheat yourself, you go with your $10 and you drive a new car from the showroom, and then you know how much you pay a new car. You are paying 500 or 400 plus insurance, 700. A $10 man. Then you are cheating yourself. I am in America. I am also driving. You cannot even help your parents, even your sisters are at home back in Kenya. They are anguishing in poverty. Even some of your sisters and brothers, they are not going to school. You are cheating yourself. I'm driving a new car. Then I got it from the showroom. You know, let us not cheat ourselves. A person who is well educated and a person who is earning is a much blessed person. He's in a better level. You cannot compete with that person.
Thank you. We are running out of time. We all have this model, right? The Ramsey model. What I'm going to do now, for the next couple of minutes, is I'm going to shift gears a little bit. What is debt? And is debt a financial problem anyway? How many believe that debt is a financial problem? Raise your hand up high. It is a problem, I agree. But is it a financial problem? Raise up your hand high. The hands went down again. I want to see how many of us believe debt is a financial problem. Well, here's the truth. Debt is not a financial problem. Debt is a symptom of an inner and bigger problem. It doesn't matter whether it's a student loan, a mortgage, or anything. Debt is a symptom of a bigger problem. Last time, for those who are here, I told you to go with one. If you forget everything else, go with one thing. And I'll tell you what it is. Live as no one else, so you can live as no one else. Drive what no one else drives, so you can drive what no one else drives. And I'll break it down. Let's talk about debt and what debt is essentially. Debt equals to something called habit plus attitude equals debt. Combined habit plus attitude is coined to form a word called habitudes. So the habits we have daily and the attitudes we have towards life lead us to debt. You can go to school, you can be well educated, you can have a big house, you can have a big car, you can have all these things and zero debt. So debt is not a financial problem, it's a mindset. Because I want to maintain a status quo. I saw Debbie went to school, she became a medical doctor. I also want to be a medical doctor. So I'm going to get a student loan. I don't know what Debbie did to make it to medical school. But because I want to maintain the status quo, I want to be a medical doctor. I saw Pastor Ezra bought a big house in Ramsey. I am going to buy that. Listen, let me tell you how bad it is. I am not buying the house Ezra bought. I am buying an even bigger house. Attitude
6-bedroom with 1 key.
And habits. Many of us, when we are stressed, and this is, I'm talking to my fellow ladies, because it's a female problem. When I'm stressed, when I'm angry, I go to the store. It's a female statistically proven problem. When I'm stressed, when I'm mad with Stephen, I go to the store. And I will shop and shop and then I bring these things home, and then I get guilty. But guess what I've already done? Swiped those cards. Another problem is, I will see my sister has a nice dress, and women, we don't like repeating dresses. I don't know why. You find a woman has dresses lined for 365 days, but because Sister Lynn has a new house, a new dress, I want that design. So when you find yourself in the habit, you find therapy in shopping. That is a habit that's leading to death. And I'm telling you, it's a psychological disease. And some of us don't believe it's a disease. But we find therapy in shopping. That is why malls are geared to attract women. That is why malls and most shopping and shopping advertisements are for women. Because men don't have this problem. Women find therapy in shopping. And we shop. And you know what? They are so smart. What they do, they make women's stuff cheaper. So they believe in quantity. And say, oh, there was a sale. Do you know Steve always says, and Steve always tells me that I keep telling him, oh, there was a sale, that's why I went for. But when you look at that sale, there was really no sale. That product was marked for that price, but they hyped it and then they put it at the price so that you think it was on sale. And foolishly, as foolish women, we just go and buy. And we don't buy one, we buy multiple. Habits. Another thing that will make you know that you're getting in debt is when you find yourself buying things and hiding from your spouse, hiding from your friend, because you know you've shopped so much and you know now if I bring home, but we did not buy that car. I literally drove to that Mercedes-Benz dealership and I pulled him aside and we talked. And I dragged him out of it. We stayed with our old cars until we were able to save money and buy a car cash. A beautiful car cash. Those of you who are here a little older, longer, no, I used to drive a Land Rover LR3. I don't know if you remember it. We just sold it. That car, we paid it off cash. We said, we love this car, but we are not going to pay a note for it. That car costed us, was it about $20,000? We went and said, if we cannot get a car that's $20,000, we are not buying it. We paid cash for that car. And when we sold that car, it's because we needed that money for a certain investment that was more lasting than a depreciating car. And so we put that money into a more solid investment and bought older but yet usable cars. Why am I giving you these examples? When I started, I told you, live like no one else so that you can live like no one else. Drive what no one is driving so that you can drive what no one else is driving. When I moved here to this country first, I drove that car. I don't even know what, even that car, if it has a name. It had rusts all over it. And I remember we used to be mocked. It was a friend of mine and I. We used to be mocked because we were told, young girls don't drive such shameful cars. But because we knew what we were doing, we drove that car to the ground. I understood where I was coming from. You have to know your why for you to live a much, much Christian desired life.